Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene has been voted out of the House Freedom Caucus. Just before the House recessed on June 23rd, a majority of the caucus voted to remove Greene. A fellow Republican congressman says the vote came after Greene confronted Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert from Colorado using a swear word. It's not clear if the vote means Greene is expelled. This is the first time the caucus has removed a member. Joining me now is Chuck Todd from NBC's Meet the Press. Chuck, good morning.
Good morning, Christy.
So we have learned a majority of the Freedom Caucus voted to remove Marjorie Taylor Greene. This shows the fissures in the Republican Party have not healed. So now the question has to be, can Speaker Kevin McCarthy continue to hold his majority as we get closer to 2024?
Yeah, I think this was more about Kevin McCarthy than it was Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, I think Kevin McCarthy thought that his growing relationship with Marjorie Taylor Greene was a way to keep the Freedom Caucus sort of in the tent. But it turns out she doesn't necessarily, the closer she's gotten to McCarthy, the farther away she's gotten from her so-called Freedom Caucus roots. And I think the Freedom Caucus didn't like the idea that she was being representative of their points of view to McCarthy. So I think this is, if I'm Kevin McCarthy, this is a troubling development. This is less about her and more about, an ally that you thought was going to have the ability to keep a potential group of your constituents that could take you down in the speakership, keep them at bay, is suddenly not a viable ally in that regard. So, no, I think this is, if you're Kevin McCarthy and a year from now he's not speaker, we'll go back to this moment and say, this was a beginning of the unraveling.
So speaking of the road to 2024, you talked with Governor Doug Burgum of North Dakota, who has also entered the race for the Republican nomination. It's unlikely, to say the least. So when you talk to these long shot candidates, do they believe they have a chance at winning, or do you think this is a strategic move? Are there other agendas at play?
No, I think with Burgum, I think he truly believes it. And I look at Burgum as almost like the stalking horse for Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia or Governor Glenn Youngkin of Virginia. When I say stalking horse, I'm not saying suddenly if Burgum gets traction, he'll step aside and say, come on, Brian Kemp, you be the nominee, or come on, Glenn Youngkin, you be the nominee. But the folks that are trying to convince Kemp and Youngkin to get in are the folks that Burgum is trying to appeal to himself. And he's trying to run a campaign that's less focused on social issues, more focused on the economy, national security issues. And so it's one of those, he believes there is an appetite for this somewhere in the party. We're going to find out if that's enough voters to make him a viable candidate. I think when we watch all these social issues be the more animating issues in the Republican electorate, it's hard to see how his message can break through. But, he's also got a lot of money, and he's willing to spend it. And sometimes you can create your own weather, as they say.
All right. We'll keep our eye out for the storm. All right, Chuck, thanks so much. Meet the Press airs at 10 right after 11 Live Weekend Morning News.